Hello, and welcome back to Professor Mandy Weedmore's classroom. Today, I'm going to answer the question burning in everyone's mind. Is Love and Deepspace a Gooner game? The answer is a little bit complicated because it can be a yes and a no. If you go into it purely to get your goon on, you will be sorely disappointed. I'm going to go over what the game is about and how it compares to others. Love and Deepspace can be categorized as a gacha game. A gacha game is a type of video game, usually mobile, one that uses a randomized reward system that entices players to pay in real life. Money, they gotta get all that money somewhere because it's a free-to-play game, but they still want that money. So anyway, it entices players to get more chances to gain the reward. The name gacha derives from Japanese gachapons, like a vending machine that dispenses a toy capsule. Most gacha games are free to play, with ways to get in-game currency through battling, but they definitely encourage to pay for different characters or outfits. Other popular games in this genre are Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail. If you haven't seen the ads for that and YouTube sponsors, where have you been? Arknights, and many more exist. Most of these games are targeted at a male audience, except the rare few like Cookie Run and Infinity Nikki. Fun fact, Infinity Nikki is also made by Infold Games, who also makes Love and Deepspace. And that's why Infinity Nikki also has amazing graphics and amazing clothing choices, but that's not the point of the video. What is different about Love and Deepspace, it is currently centered around 5 love interests. Xavier, your fellow co-worker, who is definitely hiding something about himself. Raphael, a painter whose work was entrancing people, somehow you end up becoming his bodyguard. Zane, your long-lost childhood friend, who's now your doctor. Sylus, a crime boss who has an interest in your abilities. And Caleb, who you have a complicated history with, but can't seem to remember it at all. But you know he is good. It is not shocking when people hear the premise of the game and just assume it's purely all sexual and romancing these characters, but that is far from the truth. It is, however, worrying that people instantly make fun of it when there exists a variety of worse sexual games curated for men, even so bad that they would be featured on the news over how graphic these types of video games men play are.
Mercy has been described as a fantasy game that encourages sexual assault. And King 5's Jim Nelson is joining us live in studio tonight. Jim, what do we know about the local connection here?
Well, Jessica, it's been available on Steam, which is a popular digital gaming store and platform. Steam's parent company is Valve Corporation, which is headquartered in Bellevue. But the criticism goes far beyond Western Washington.
Disgusting.
Ariel Budnich scrolls through an online petition. More than 70,000 signatures and growing.
Yeah.
Outrage.
It's in about 24 hours, so.
Over a sex-based computer game.
Disgusting!
She was very passionate. I would probably say that I share a lot of her feelings.
Budnich first learned about No Mercy on TikTok. The game includes scenarios of incest, blackmail, and rape.
It's a fantasy game for psychopaths.
Even if Love and Deepspace was purely a romance game, it would be far better than most games like that exist for the male demographic. However, Love and Deepspace is more than a romance game. Yes, it has romance aspects like the date section to arcade and playing mini games. However, when you first start the game, none of this is available to you, just the main story. If you are going into the game immediately expecting gooning material, you will be sorely disappointed. The game starts with amazing graphics and an enticing story. Each character has abilities called Evolve. The main character has Resonance, which allows her to exponentially increase the power of other Evolves. This allows her to work as a hunter in pairs to get rid of wanderers. The story focuses on said wanderers, a monstrous creature powered by protocores originating from the Deepspace tunnel, a mysterious tunnel in space that is being researched and caused a catastrophe when the main character you play was young. The MC has a protocore in her heart. In most cases, it is deadly and is called protocore syndrome. And one of the main characters I just talked about, Zane, is an expert in this because of MC. I had to throw that in there. But MC is actually uninfected. She can't remember much of her childhood, and there are huge gaps in her memory. The storyline is about her not the love interest. She is determined to fill in these missing gaps and understand her history. The love interest just happened to be there. There's hardly any romance in the main story, just battling and mystery. However, you can you can dev goon, but you have to work for it, okay? You have to work for it, so it's not technically there, okay? Anyway, remember the gacha aspect that I mentioned in the beginning? In Love in Deepspace, you pull for the cards of the aforementioned love interest, which you don't even have to do, and not all of them are raunchy, if you will. Some are sweet and wholesome, like doing your cleansing morning face routine with Sylus, going to a New Year's event with Raphael, reminiscing with Zane over lunch, going to the arcade with Xavier, and cleaning up with Caleb. Of course, there are cards that are on the raunchier side, some even unlocking ASMR audios that are filled with innuendos, but again, you don't even have to listen to those. The story is so good enough by itself, and info games are adding to it still. The thing is, outside viewers immediately shut down the game as just a Gooner game, when in reality it's so much more than that. Though the way Infold promotes the game certainly doesn't help with its image. People will continue to write it off as purely a sexual game due to the ads, and men will continue to make fun of the game because apparently they are the only ones allowed to have Gooner games. Apparently women can't play those. It doesn't matter if they have ever played the game, they saw the ads and they assumed. As I said and explained with the premise, it's so much more than just a Gooner game, but that's all they see. The battle mechanics and animation are gorgeous. If Love in Deepspace was purely a Gooner game, you would not have to be battling these monsters over and over again to beat the freaking level, okay? I definitely would not lose so much in the later levels. Another feature I love is the photo booth, where you can look at the battle outfits you have unlocked and pose the characters. The clothing physics are amazing, and it makes for great drawing references. The main reason I think people are so butthurt about the game in the first place is that they are jealous of the graphics and wish their games look this good. And secondly, of course, misogyny. They don't think women should follow the same behavior men do. I mean, look at the way people treat book talk. You can like smutty books and not be a bad person. You can know that love shouldn't be this way in real life and still enjoy it. I don't know. Anyway, Love in Deepspace, again, is way more than just Gooner material. You can play the whole storyline without running into it because the story doesn't revolve around the love interest. It revolves around MC, the main character. She's on a mission to find out who she is, and the love interest all have to do with her past. In the main story, she's simply using them to understand her history, a very interesting one at that. You can completely avoid the romance by just playing the main story with the amazing graphics. It's totally worth it. Though, there is nothing wrong with also getting the romance cards. Like, trust me, I'm definitely pulling for those marriage cards coming up, and I already got the rendezvous cards when they first came. Because I've been a Goonet since high school playing Mystic Messenger, and recently just finished reading Caught Up by Nevessa Allens. I am definitely not one to judge, so it's okay to be a Gooner. I'm just saying that this game really isn't one of those. You can participate in that by pulling those specific cards, but you don't have to pull for those cards, and the main game doesn't have anything to do with that. China also has one of the strictest conservatism and indecency laws, that they have to be very careful with it. They have been very specific with like towel placement as well, and they're very, very careful to not show anything and make it subtle. So again, not really a Gooner stuff, and you can avoid it the full thing. And that's how it is a yes and a no. I can't recommend the game enough, also, to wrap up this video. I highly recommend playing the game. This voice acting is phenomenal, and as an animation nerd, I know they be pushing themselves to the bone for those graphics. I spend so much time admiring the folds in MC's dress, and in the photo booth, you can spin the character and the shadow and the light. Oh my god, it's amazing. Though there is something to be said about how much storage it takes up on your phone or iPad. It's heating that freaking device up to the max. And if you want photos on your phone or your iPad, good luck, because it's taking all that storage. But it's definitely worth it. I don't care about my storage, take it all. I should mention, I am not sponsored by this game. I mean, that would be obvious by my usual view count. Speaking of, subscribe. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Anyway, that is just how much I like this game. I just wanted to talk about it and make it known that it's so much more than people say. Yes, it has those Gooner aspects, but it's a beautiful game with characters that all have unique, intriguing backgrounds. Characters with unique past lives and many different battle abilities. I can't recommend this game enough. Don't listen to the haters. This game is currently my whole life. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble about my recent hyperfixation. Most importantly, everyone, stay weird. Bye!